Good morning. Specifically, good Friday morning. Let's see here. Looks like the stream is up and running. My coffee is made. And I want to welcome you. Glad to have you here. TGIF. Let's spend a few minutes together, a little time together to start this last day of the week, kind of reflect upon the last week. And of course, Friday is dedicated to Q and Day. So the reason I come here on Fridays is to answer questions and to help in any way that I can. So let's allow just a moment for folks to get on the live stream here this morning. Let's see. So this week, what's going on? Well, as I mentioned, hey, Courtney, happy Friday to you as well. As I mentioned earlier this week, we traveled to Illinois to visit with our family, and out of that family gathering, 4 people ended up testing positive for COVID within a few days. Among those, my daughter and her husband and my wife, Vicky, who's quarantining within the house right now. And so far, for me, while I'm very sad, for them and sorry for and they're okay, but it's not fun, But luckily, I've been able to stay a step ahead. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. So far, so good. So we'll see what happens. But good to have you guys here this morning. Chicago and Indy in the house. And let's see here. As people keep checking in, let me just take a moment to let you know that what we do on Friday is give you a chance to ask your questions, make your comments, and we'll take a few minutes and we'll talk about those. So I'm not coming with anything specific to talk about today. As I like to. At the end of the week, I like to reflect, on the previous week and what's happened. And, aside from dealing with the COVID thing, it hasn't been a terribly exciting week. I mean, I've stayed moderately busy, and it's been an okay week. One of the exciting things that did happen as a result of the direct marketing that we're doing right now, when I say we, is because I use a service which is VO Marketing Pro. VOmarketingpro.com. Todd Barsness and his sons. They have taken the technique that Todd really lasered in on many years ago and used it to build, this year he'll be making well over $300,000 in voiceover. And they hire out to do direct marketing for voice talent. And because of how busy I am now with voiceover and with voiceover training, I use them as my direct marketing service. So one of the cool, and almost daily I'm getting responses from people, which now, we're in the process of cultivating into actual customers. But this week I received a message from a company that specializes in pharmaceutical narration, which just so happens I've done quite a bit of. So I was able to record an audition for them and got back very positive news, positive feedback. They said they love the demo and are going to begin putting it in front of their clients. So hopefully something good will come from that. But marketing is a process. Never have an expectation that going from 0 to 60, in other words, going from 0 to a paying client happens in an instant. Occasionally it does, but usually it's a process. It's a process of them becoming aware of you, and then it's a process of waiting for them to actually need you. And then it may require, in this case, I needed to record a custom audition, not for a job, but just to be listed on their roster of talent. And then I'm sure I'll, when it's time to possibly get work, I'll need to audition again for that. So that can, that's a process that can take a while. So while I hate to have to be patient for things, I like things to happen right now. Don't we all? It's usually just not the way it works. But as long as you know that, it's all good. Okay, Norco, California. Fantastic. Okay, let's see here. Do we have any questions? A lot of good mornings, and I love it. It's the weekend. Yes, Kevin. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. What's the best kind of cover letter when emailing potential prospects? Don asks. Well, my philosophy when it comes to direct marketing and emails and phone calls are what I've primarily used. But of those two, emails, mostly because they're so convenient. You can do them at any time, at a time that's convenient for you. It doesn't matter whether it's their offices are open or not or what part of the world they're in. You can always send emails. My guiding principle is this. There's two. Excuse me. One is less is more. Always think from, it's interesting. Being a commercial copywriter, I learned so many things early on. Always thinking of and speaking of from the perspective of the client. Always think about them and know that they are so busy. They've got so many things going on. Your email to you is a big thing, which it should be, but it's not to them. It's just one of 100 things that they're dealing with today. And it's not going to be, in all likelihood, the most important thing to them. At some point, it could end up becoming important to them, but right now it's not. But to you, it is. The mistake would be to allow the email to reflect how important it is to you. In other words, by giving your entire backstory. They don't know, they don't care. So the first point is keep it simple. The point number 2 is make sure you're pointing to your demo. All roads point to your demo. In Voiceover, if you want to get hired, people have to listen to your demo or your demos. That's just the way it has to work. So when I'm emailing somebody, it's really no more than like 3 sentences, give or take. Something to the effect, hi, I'm Bill DeWeese, a professional voiceover talent. If you ever need a male voice, I invite you to listen to my demos. I mean, literally, it's maybe change a few words here or there, but I mean, that's basically it. Make it yours. But it's all about, remember, you begin with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey once famously said in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What's the goal? It's to get them to listen to your demo. You're not asking them to hire you. You're not, they don't need to know who you are and what you do and your background. Nobody cares. What they care about is what you're able to do for them, and the demo tells them that. So all you want to do is establish that you are a professional voice talent, which means you do this for hire, which you are. If they hire you, I'm sure you expect to be paid. And you invite them to listen to your demo. And you make it very easy for them. Do not send them an attachment. Point them, if you have a website, point them to your website. If you don't have a website, which you don't have to have a website when you first get started, you can upload it to SoundCloud or have it available in a link somehow that they can click and listen to. Because all you want is for them to listen and then hopefully respond positively. And then that begins a whole other conversation about what to do next. But Don, that's what I recommend. All right, Chris from Denmark. Awesome. How you doing? Glad to have you here. Good morning, Minnesota. Okay, I'm just scanning through here. Let's see here. Should I wait on the marketing until I have the demo, correct? Yeah, Joe, yeah. Because the marketing should have one purpose, excuse me, and one purpose only, and that is to invite people to listen to your demo. So without the demo, you have no reason to market. And in my humble opinion, although I think a DIY demo is good and appropriate in some situations, if money's tight, primarily using freelance sites like Upwork and Fiverr or ACX.com. When it comes to direct marketing, it's such a competitive market, you need professional demos, in my opinion. And it's not that you can't, but it will just be much harder. Hey, Tim. Hey, Dory. Is that you in the Ace Hardware TV spot? I've recorded, Dory, wait a minute. Aren't you the Ace Hardware person? I used to do work for Ace Hardware, and I thought that was through you. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not on any current Ace TV spots, but I have recorded regional Ace commercials before. Are business cards as important as they used to be in the VO industry? No, they're not. Years ago, I bought, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of business cards. I was so excited and proud because I had my new logo and couldn't wait to get them. I probably have passed out 1 or 2 in the past 10 years. It's not to say it's not a good idea to have it. I mean, the whole idea of marketing is exposure. And pre-internet, pre-platforms that we use primarily for getting work now, there was a lot of press in the flesh, so to speak, shaking hands, going out, I remember, back in the day hearing of voice talent that would, when I was living in the Chicago area, that would, walk up and down Michigan Avenue and area, hitting all of the recording studios there, passing out business cards and other marketing tchotchkes, shaking hands, and which is, that was the way you needed to do it back then. Um, Today, not so much. I'm not anti-business card. I mean, you never know. You might run across somebody someday that says, "Hey, I need a voiceover talent," and you just happen to have a business card. So, but no, they're not as important as they used to be. Hey, Marla from Texas, how are you today? Joanne, Trinidad, Tobago. All right, awesome. Would I suggest getting coaching first before pay to play and marketing? Oh my goodness, yes. Absolutely. I mean, really, coaching is where this whole thing begins. You don't know what you don't know until you work with somebody who does. And and when it comes to pay to play, when pay to play platforms, we're talking about websites and platforms like voices.com, voice123.com are the two biggest, where you pay for the opportunity to have auditions. And it's I mean, they're competitive. They're way more competitive than they used to be. You can certainly get work. And, as a matter of fact, I'm doing a job today off of Voices. I got on voices.com. But you really need to get some coaching, because you should never be on those platforms without a pro demo to begin with. And you need to work with somebody who can put you on the right path, make sure that you've developed some performance skills so that you can audition competitively, and so you know what the heck you're doing. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Tampa, Florida. Donna, hey, what's up? We're coming down your direction here in a few months. My family's doing a little family vacationing down there on the Gulf side of Florida later this summer. Looking forward to that. Could use some sunshine right now. I have submitted 10 auditions so far, nothing yet. Oh, Dennis, you haven't even scratched the surface. You may have to do hundreds of auditions before you even get a bite. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be realistic. You just have to understand that that's the way it works. And there's nobody, the best of the best of the best, that I'm aware of, have to submit way more than 10 auditions to expect to see anything happen. So always be thinking in, the people who really do a lot of, I don't audition so much for jobs. I mean, I do audition, but my method is not to sit down and do a bunch of auditions every day. I'm marketing by dealing with the clients I already have and the auditions that are coming in from my existing clients. I don't sit down and do 30, 40 auditions off of pay-to-play sites, which I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that's not where I'm at right now in my career. But there are people who are very experienced, who are very good at this, who they sit down, they'll do 20 to 50 auditions a day, maybe land a job or two a week. So again, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to, I think, having realistic expectations and knowing that even when you're really good and experienced, you've got to do a lot of auditioning, if that's, and what you do when you first get started, for sure. Up on Lake Erie. Hey, Lance, how are you doing? I have a son. My oldest son lives up in Cleveland, up on Lake Erie. Matthew asks, if I set up a studio, is it better to have an audio engineer check out the space in person, or can a competent engineer tell me what might be missing remotely? Oh, remotely is fine, Matthew. Yeah, an engineer doesn't need to see anything. It's just like a voiceover client doesn't need to see us. They just need to hear. And a good engineer, as a matter of fact, my son Alex DeWeese is an audio engineer that works with voiceover talent. That's what he does for a living, helping them get the most out of their space, teaching them how to edit, all of those kind of things. As a matter of fact, if you want to reach out to him, his email is alex, ALEX, at BillDeWeese.com, alex at BillDeWeese.com. And he's extremely reasonable, but that's what he does all day, every day. Along with audio editing for professional voice talent, that kind of stuff. Good morning, Jeremy from Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah, I just stuck my head in the bedroom this morning because my wife's quarantining, but I'm still taking her stuff, and I'm certainly have been exposed. And I just checked in on her this morning before I came in, and she said she was doing okay, and she doesn't have a voice right now. The big thing for her is her throat hurts, but they're doing okay. Thanks for asking. Yeah, Dory, who I was talking to earlier about the Ace stuff, she says she used to work for a local chain of Ace stores full time now. I thought that was you, Dory. Okay, good. Good to hear from you. Let's see here. Do you use the green apple trick to get rid of mouth clicks? No, I don't. That doesn't work for me. It does for some people. Some people use, green apples. What I clean, here's what I use to help minimize mouth clicks is gum. What you're looking at here is Airhead gum, watermelon to be specific. Is it because Airhead watermelon gum is something special? No, it's not. It's because this was left over from my grandkids' Easter stuff, and they left it here at the house. That's what was available. But I keep a box of extra gum, which is my preferred. Not because it's better than other gum. I just like the taste of it. But I chew gum between projects all day. Excuse me. And it just keeps my mouth clear, so it helps to minimize mouth noise. So pro tip, though, is this. First thing you have to do is you have to physically be aware that you create mouth noise. What do I mean by that? Well, when I'm working with new talent, and understandably so, I mean, there's only so much you can think about, but they really have no awareness of just how much noise they're creating. So they allow a lot of extra noise by allowing their lips to smack and their tongue to smack off the top of their mouth, because they're just not aware of it. But once you do this a lot and you become aware, you can actually physically minimize that. Like, for instance, here's a quick tip. Don't allow your lips to touch between sentences or phrases when you're recording voiceover. If you were to be in my voiceover blueprint program and watch because I stream as I work, so that, so my students can watch and hear. But if you were to watch me do a project, you would notice that when I reach the end of a sentence, my lips aren't touching. I never do this because that creates mouth noise. My lips stay parted. Now, I don't even think about it now. It's subconscious, but it's something I developed years ago, because every time you close your lips at the end of a sentence, open them up, you're going to make mouth noise. But by not touching them together, it doesn't, that's one source of noise you've eliminated. So having an awareness like that and practicing that can be a big help. Okay. Are industry awards of any value, or just vanity? Oh, they're purely vanity. And that's not, hey, congrats to anybody and everybody that's won an award. I think it's great. And it's not, performers like to be acknowledged. We all do. Everybody likes to be acknowledged. I get that. Is there any practical value to it? No. Your clients could care less. Might it add a little credibility to your marketing? Maybe, maybe, But what people really want to know, they don't care about your awards. What they care is what can you do? What do you sound like? That's why your demo is so important. I personally don't submit myself to any awards for consideration. I just don't, it's not important. Plus, I would never take the time to go to an award ceremony, and I just don't. I personally, that's for me. There's nothing in it for me that I see any value in. But there are those who, they need that or want that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But practically, no, there's no value. North Carolina. Hey, Jay. Where do I find a voiceover coach? Well, Tim, who do you think you're talking to right now? Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. And by the way, for those of you who are interested in learning more about my coaching, I want to encourage you to go to, excuse me, BillDeweeseLive.com. BillDeweeseLive.com. There's about a 50-minute training video there. It's free. It's about how to get started in voiceover. It gives you a good overview. And from there, you can schedule a phone call to learn more about my training. So that's what I invite you to do. Thanks for asking, Tim. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, people are telling how many auditions they've done. 200, 1,000. Yeah, it's now I would say if you've done 1,000 auditions with nothing good happening, there's you need to get some. I would get some coaching just to get some feedback, um, because there's some things you could do to up your odds there. How is the shotgun mic? It's fine. Uh, this is a Sennheiser 416. I've only had it for a few months. The only reason I didn't get it because I wasn't happy with my Neumann TLM 103 large diaphragm condenser mic. I love that mic. I've used it for years. I've got two of them. I love it so much. I have a backup to my primary one. But we moved within the past year to Cincinnati, and I live in a neighborhood. Um, the basement's not is not finished right now. And right now is a really bad time to hire a contractor to do a project like that. Two reasons. One, first of all, it's going to be way more expensive than usual because of materials and such. Number two, it's going to take forever to get it done. So maybe someday I'll go to my basement like I had in my last home when we lived in the Chicago area, get it finished and do it upright, but not now. And so I'm just operating I'm on the main floor. There's a little office on the main floor there's a window right in front of me that goes right out to the front street. I'm in a whisper room, but still. It's funny, yesterday I did forgive me for clearing my throat. It takes me a while to get things cleared out and operating in the morning, so I apologize. You get me at my absolute worst every morning. Just keeping it real. But yesterday I had a directed session actually, it was a job for Honda, and it was through a studio on the East Coast that I was doing it, and I was connected using Source Connect software, but it was in real time. And I've been working with a studio for years, and so I know the engineer pretty well now, and he knows me, and we were just talking after the session yesterday about my setup, and I'm paranoid about it because I've always tried to make sure that no noise gets through. And there was a truck that went by that he could hear at one point, but it was faint enough that it wasn't an issue, and there was a few little things he said he could hear, but he said still he was saying that I still give him some of the quietest and cleanest audio that he gets from any voiceover talent that he works with, which let me know that it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. You want to get it as good as you can, you know, but it's not 100% perfect or soundproof. Sometimes I have to wait for the guy next door to quit mowing his yard or, whatever the case may be, but making it work. Joel says, may your wife have a speedy recovery. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, Rob, the shotgun. I was drifting there. The reason I got the Sennheiser shotgun microphone is because they're more directional. And even though it's, again, like I said, the engineer could hear a few things yesterday during the session, it helps to not pick up in 360. It just, focuses on what's in front of it. So it's quieter. Their thing, it's different. It's a little more of an aggressive microphone than my Neumann. It's not as smooth around the edges. It's a little more in your face. It's an adjustment. I like it fine. I don't know that I like it better. I like it. It's fine. I built my business with a $60 Marshall MXL microphone. I'm not a gear snob by any means, and I don't think that getting a new great mic that's not what's going to change your career. By the way, for those who think, oh, I need a Sennheiser 416, or I need a Neumann TLM 103 or a Neumann 87 or whatever. You don't. You really don't. You need a good space to record in. Is what you need. But that's a whole other conversation. Is it possible to only work remote from home, or do some clients require you to come to another studio to record? It's been the last time I was required to go to a studio to record was for Disney. I'm trying to think. I think it was Disney, and that was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And it was when I was living in the Chicago area. They wanted to fly into Chicago and meet me at a studio there. I'm trying to remember the name of the studio. I think it was on Ontario Street. I can't remember the name of the studio off the top. of my head. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. But uh, they hired me to be the voice of their vacation club to do all the marketing materials for that. So they had never worked with me before, so they wanted to fly in and do. So we spent the day together working on stuff, and then after that, they just had me work from home. But that, I have not worked. That's the last time, and so no, you don't. No, it's rare if ever anybody will ever. Even when I recorded Lego, the voice for the Lego policeman, I did it from my home studio. I do. I recorded. When I used to do, I was a voice for Chevrolet Find New Roads. I did that from my home studio. Um, it's just, yeah, it will be rarely, if ever, that you'll need to go to another studio. The closest I came to having to come to leave my studio, well, it wasn't even close to having to leave, but I was hired by an agent, and they said, "Do you want to come downtown to the studio, or do you want to do it from home?" I said, "From home." Hello, I don't want to spend half my day, you know, going to another studio and parking and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, now you can work from home. Hey, Italy. All right, awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's getting late in the morning. It's been fun hanging out, and obviously we could probably do this all day, and I would enjoy that. But hopefully you've got work to do. I know I do, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care, and I appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.